Okay, so I hear the chatter you guys are making about my disdain for the city of Jackson and squabbling about your frustrations about how I'm giving an unfair picture of living in the city of Jackson. So in today's video, I'm going to try to share the good things about living in Jackson because it's not all bad. And you can decide for yourself if you think living in Jackson is a better option than the neighboring cities. Our channel was started 2 years ago and continues today to try to help people that are looking to relocate decide whether Mississippi is a good place to live or not. So it's our mission to help people see by video what is not always easy to find through a simple Google search. So first, a little about Jackson, which is the capital city of Mississippi, and currently has a population of around 153,000 people. Unlike other cities in the greater Jackson metro area that have been consistently growing over the last 20 years, Jackson's population is shrinking. In 1990, the population of Jackson was 30% more than it is today. And just like with any city, especially capital cities, there are good parts and there are bad parts, and Jackson is no different. There are definitely some great parts of Jackson. And when I say great parts, I mean parts where home values are steady, the streets are in good shape, violent crime are lower than the national average, things like that. The city of Jackson is given an overall rating by niche.com of a C+. So let's talk about some of the positive things in Jackson. There are some really nice restaurants, shopping areas on the northeast side of the city, and actually the only Whole Foods in the entire state of Mississippi is located in Jackson. The shopping center where the Whole Foods is, which is Highland Village, has great shops and restaurants. There's a Lululemon, Vineyard Vines, Kendra Scott, Pure Bar, and lots of small local boutiques. Some of the best restaurants in our entire area are in this very small quadrant of Jackson, and there's several options. There's also some nice pockets of town like Belhaven and Fondren, where over the last several years, there's been some revitalization effort, and you can really see the change in the new restaurants and shops that have been popping up consistently over the last few years there. Let's look at employment opportunities in Jackson. If you work in the medical field, there are 4 major hospitals located in Jackson. There are also plenty of government jobs, just like you'd expect in any capital city. There are several banks that are headquartered in Jackson for all of you bankers looking to relocate. And what about the downtown area? Well, there's lots of businesses downtown. It's a nice and safe place, but the nightlife, considering that it's a capital city, is just about non-existent downtown. So if you're a young med student looking to rent, there's really some nice areas like the District, which is a nice development on the north side of town that has a nice Marriott hotel and some really nice apartments to rent. So let's talk about housing costs in Jackson. During the last 6 months, there were 790 homes sold, ranging in price from $6,000, yes, I said $6,000, up to $887,000, but the average was $116,000. So what can you expect at that price? You're looking at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that was probably built in the 1950s to 60s on a quarter-acre lot. So I did some driving this weekend to South Jackson, where I actually grew up back in the 1970s and 80s. And I have to admit, I almost didn't even recognize it. At least 30%, maybe more, of the homes had the windows boarded shut, roofs caving in, or just completely abandoned and neglected. And I don't know how anybody drives around here at night because potholes, oh my goodness, some of them are clearly marked with orange barrels, and I hate to guess how long those barrels have been there. But others, you really need to drive about 10 miles an hour or less to keep your car from bottoming out, and it's everywhere. Another reason that living in Jackson isn't for the weak is the struggle that the city has to meet basic first world living standards. Take the water crisis, for example. For years, the city has struggled to deliver safe, reliable drinking water to its residents. It's gotten so bad that in the last few years, it's made national news. Just Google Jackson water crisis and you can read all about the theories of why it got to be so bad. And then there's the trash pickup debacle. Apparently, the city can't come to a resolution on a contractor to pick up the trash. It was recently fined by the Department of Environmental Quality. This issue has been going on for a couple of years now, and it's still not resolved. And then there's the crime. The last few years, Jackson's homicide per capita beats just about any other city in the nation. If you look at Niche's crime and safety numbers, some are double, even triple the national average. This makes me really sad because I hate violence and I want to see the capital of our great state succeed, because I firmly believe that when Jackson succeeds, the whole state will benefit. I wish I knew or had a crystal ball of what it would take to get there, and I'm sure some of you will comment on your opinion, but the fact remains that Jackson has been falling down a slippery slope for over 40 years now, and it sure seems hopeless when you ride around some of the parts of the city. Oh, and speaking of riding around, big shout out to some fellow realtors Locke Ward and Casey Bridges for starting an organization a few months ago to help clean up the streets in Jackson. When I say clean up, I actually mean they're cleaning it. They got so tired of seeing all the trash and neglect on the curves and the storm drain. They have been tirelessly cleaning every day. Power washers, dumpsters. Ultimately, I believe it will take more residents like Locke and Casey personally take on making Jackson a better place to live. So kudos to all you out there that are making it a better place to live. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video.